What is up, every pony? I am Nether Dragon, and I'm back for another episode of Bronies React. And this time it's reacting to Derpy, as you can see from the title. Now, I know that some of you said, I don't have to watch the bonus, but I've always liked to see, extra stuff, what their thoughts were to Derpy. It's only 8 minutes more, so I can go with it. And probably anything that has kind of bonus stuff, I'll probably watch just since, again, I like to kind of see everything they might have to offer just to, yeah. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get started. This is a 60-minute video, so it's a longish one. Adding 8 more minutes will put it a little longer, but you know what? I can do it. As long as I don't get copyrighted, I have to do what happened. I guess I can say I put in the comment last time, but quick little story. Apparently, one little bit, 30-second music, copyrighted the video from last night, yesterday morning, to worldwide copyright. And I'm like, what the hell? So I look at it, and it's like, I could trim out the entire segment where I mute the music and the audio. I'm like, let's try muting just the music, so my voice is still there, and all the YouTube videos were still there. And it took a while, but the video worked. So yeah, I'm hoping that it works again this time and I don't get copyrighted. How they didn't get copyrighted, I have no idea. But I digress. Talking too much. Let's just get into this. No, come on. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Doesn't seem so bad so far.
Huh? Now careful.
You got her name out?
You don't want to do any more damage than you've already done.
They didn't say her name. I haven't heard that. Yeah, that's the edited version where they didn't say the name.
Aww. She's still cute.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Nice work, Rainbow Dash!
They changed their voice again?
And is it me, or did they change your eyes too?
I mean, I know they did. I don't know exactly. It's been a while since I've seen this episode, but...
No, nothing. In the name of Celestia, just sit there and...
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Okay, let's turn that down a little bit. It's way too loud. The Derpy change. Okay.
She's so cute, though. I'm hard-pressed to hate her. In whatever form she takes,
Everybody loves Derpy.
What did you just watch?
I just watched new Coke. Not the same recipe as old Coke, and not quite as good.
I just watched Derpy be different.
They took a train wreck and made it slightly less wrecky.
I just watched the complete censoring of the character formerly known as Derpy, who is a fan favorite of many people.
Makes you wonder how Derpy became such a fan favorite.
In that scene, which is including her voice and also her eyes. So basically, it's not Derpy, it's something.
Political correctness and catering to the butthurt at its finest.
The censorship was way too unnecessary.
I mean,
How did you react?
I can kind of agree with that.
Spoke?
I do agree with that.
What?
Unnecessary.
Here's how I react. Flashback. Oh. Rainbow Dash. Gotta love Rainbow Dash.
Huh? Now, careful, Derpy! I just don't know what went wrong. My bad.
Her name was the thing that got me the most. I was like, it's Derpy! Then she's talking.
I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Huh? Now, careful, Derpy!
Oh my gosh, she said Derpy, oh my gosh, she said Derpy, oh my god. Oh, sweet Celestia, did Derpy just talk?
I
Okay.
was not completely thrilled, actually.
I mean, I didn't really have this reaction because I didn't know who
awesome of
Derpy
the
or anything about
creators of
Derpy at the
that.
time, but...
Like, that made my day. Holy cow, that made my week.
Not like I disliked it. I was just sort of like, it was a hard sell for me.
I had to stop and rewind the episode because I was like, Did they actually call her Derpy? Did Rainbow Dash actually say Derpy?
It was a magical moment in the show itself. It was like something so special.
It was the Derpy sensation. The change to Derpy became official on February 25th, 2012, and under a week later, Hasbro staff responded. Amy Keating Rogers was the writer of the infamous Derpy scene. Upon receiving negative emails, Rogers researched the name Derpy and came across several meanings. She discovered that one definition is retarded. Having a son with disabilities, Rogers was distraught with this finding, and the change became inevitable. She goes on to say that for the 10 negative emails she received, she also received 200 positive ones.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
mean-
Hasbro made the right decision?
I think that
no.
to some extent, Hasbro couldn't do anything else.
They made the best decision they could given what they had to work with.
It would have been nice if the replacement they gave us had some personality.
No, I do not think Hasbro made the right decision.
No.
Part of friendship is accepting every pony.
She's a little slow, she's a little clumsy, that's why her name's Derpy. And call it good.
Yeah,
Of course,
I think
if you
Hasbro
go
made
with
right
the
decision.
one
I'm 50-50 here. I
one
want to say
episode
yes
that shows her in her
because
youth
they're
that
a
she
corporate
was
company.
There
good,
is
and then
no
something
point
happened that made
to
her get
censoring
worse.
her name
but-
or editing
I don't know if that's
the
even canon
animation
at this
to
point.
fix her eyes to make her more normal.
The reason I'm saying no is because that I never really came across anyone complaining about what apparently the complaints were.
Again, there's so much that Hasbro haven't told us that could be anything about it, basically.
I think ultimately they realized that, you know, the adult fandom was going to stick with them no matter what. I mean, I don't think anybody honestly stopped watching the show over this.
We have to face the facts and realize that My Little Pony is and will always be a show for little girls.
What is so important about the eyes?
The eyes are really important. I mean, it's what brought attention to her in the first place.
The eyes were just an animation glitch, and that one single little mistake spawned this whole character.
That is
If
pretty
that
crazy.
one little mistake
when you think
didn't
about
happen
it.
in the first episode, she would not exist. All of that would not exist.
Her eyes were an animation error. An error, as in unacceptable. But that made her genuine in our eyes.
Eyes are what entirely made her character.
What some people found offensive, being the eyes, was what made her special to us.
We call it Derpy Hoots because of the eyes.
Yeah, eyes play a very big role.
Okay, that's just weird.
See what I did there? I'm
Yeah.
being dumb.
What is so important about the name?
You know, Hasbro was originally going to call her Ditsy, but they explicitly decided to shout out to us by giving her that name.
The name is the fandom's thumbprint.
The name was given by the fans to the character. And
Which is
was
interesting that they actually
recognized
used it.
by the creators of the show, therefore creating that direct link between the show and its fans.
We actually
Which
were
is
able
pretty
to
amazing
almost physically
that a show
touch,
reacted to the fans
the
like that.
creativity of what's being produced.
It was just sort of a descriptor that got turned into a name. And there's a logic to it, it makes sense.
When they called her Derpy in the show, that's straight up saying, we're listening to the fans.
We came up with it. So to see Rainbow Dash saying her name in the show was just amazing. It was such a high.
Again, the name occurred just because of the fact that she reminds us of something, and from there it's just stuck. Saying the name Derpy, it's like just shouting very, very loudly to us and saying, "Hey, the fans, we love you!"
And then to take it away, well, took us right back down to a low.
What would you say to those who were offended?
I actually somewhat can understand you guys, but to an extent. I do understand you if it is, like I said, because of the scene. It's because of the scene that made, you know, like a special character to look like that just because she did a bad thing.
What do you think the creators were trying to do here? Do you really think that the creators were out to offend people? Oh, let's see if we could get away with it.
Of course not.
This isn't South Park.
The pony itself is offensive.
That's very true.
And I would have to say that I don't really
I haven't really watched
understand
much
it at
South
all.
Park.
I mean, it
Only
it
seen a
also
few
looks like
episodes
you
of
don't
that.
really watch the show because it has been happening many times in the show, and now you decide to bring this up, really?
These guys aren't out here to make a bad name for themselves. They're not out there to make bad names for other people. It's literally a show about love and tolerance.
stop reading into children's cartoons what you find wrong with the world.
The only one making it offensive is you. Just relax, okay? Just relax. The world is not out to attack you.
There's a lot of things in a lot of different fandoms that people are going to find offensive, and
I mean, it's probably
you
like
have to be able to learn to just laugh at yourself.
that is true. I mean, there's
I'm not gonna
it's
say
probably because
sorry,
the
because
the
no
show
one's at fault
was
here.
that they got
All the
offended.
staff was trying
There's
to
a lot
do
of shows
was
that
give a tip
have
of the hat to
offensive
the
stuff
Bronies for our
that
support. Nothing more, nothing less.
no one ever does anything with.
Hasbro bowed to you, and you made Amy Keating Rogers feel like a failure.
Come on! We've loved and cherished other characters from the past who have some sort of signature trait.
I don't think I'd have anything to say. It's just, if they want to be offended, they can be offended. It wasn't intended to offend or hurt anybody. You know? It so wasn't.
What would you say to Hasbro?
I would say to Hasbro, this could have all have been prevented if you just stuck to your guns. If you had to change it, you should have come straight out and said why you had to change it, instead of leaving the fandom guessing for a month about what was happening and why it was happening. Basically, the rumor mill took it, made a bigger scene of it than it should have been, when you just could have come straight out and said, look, this has to be done, this is why we're doing it, and explain why. Anyway, just don't leave
And that probably
your
would have been
fans
better.
hanging
Definitely been
and
better
coming up
if they
with
just explained it.
disaster scenarios that only fans can come up with.
I would say
Yep.
thank you. You know, changes aside, it's thank you for trying. Thank you for giving us Derpy. Thank you for allowing us as a fandom to see her come to life.
Well, I do understand that you're a big corporate company that produces, kids shows and, toys and everything. I do understand all of that you need to consider many things because you don't want this thing to look bad upon your side. And it is completely understandable, and we respect that because you are the company that brought us about the pony friendship. It's magic.
I'm not mad at Hasbro. I'm really not. They went out of their way to give a shout out to us in the first place, and I'm pretty sure it was really hard for them to make that change. They didn't want to, but they also were trying to not get in trouble. They didn't want to offend anybody, so I can understand the choice.
And then of course you have
So,
Slice of
you know
Life,
what?
which
Keep
was
up the
just
good-
crazy.
Keep up the good work, and I'll still be a fan. So keep
Which
it up.
brought
We didn't do
Derby
anything
into the
offensive.
full
Some
light,
people took it
so to
that way,
speak.
and that's unfortunate, but people will find a way to get offended at everything.
That
I'm
is
not
so
mad at
true.
Hasbro, I'm not mad at you guys, but I hope things are handled differently next time in a way that's not so politically correct, because PC crap is crap.
Okay, Hasbro, learn to communicate with us. Alright? You left us in the dark for too long. A newsletter, an official response, even if it was bad news, would have been news. And that's good for me, because I would know what was going on.
It felt like we weren't involved in this and we weren't really knowing much about what happened. So I think that there was some kind of a disconnect between the community and you, Hasbro.
So if parents are upset, that's a bigger issue than if the fandom is pleased. And so if Hasbro has to pick the target audience over us, then I think they did the right thing. And I would tell them that. I'd say, we understand. We understand.
What is your advice for the Brony community?
Think about this thing because it did seem like it's unfair to change the Derpy just because of a very small vocal mind. We need for next time to be much more open-minded about decisions like that being made upon the show. Because this might happen again. Who knows? And it might not seem fair, but we need to be very open-minded because there's many sides taking up on this thing.
I mean,
and it's not easy.
was that the only
to
episode that was
understand
really
what's going on.
changed like that, where they literally just
There's
took
so
a
many
voice out
sides
and
to
changed it? Or
Which
was there
is,
any other
again,
episodes like
why
that?
It hurts so much to think about this, because this is on the fandom, guys. This isn't on the production staff.
Next time, everyone needs to just take a deep breath when something like this comes up and just see what happens. Because a lot of people were freaking out before we even knew this change was coming.
I didn't think about it too much at the time because, if people want to be upset about it, they can be upset about it. And it's just unfortunate because Hasbro is sort of caught in the middle. What can they do? They have to do something, otherwise people think that they're just being dicks. And it's really, It's really not. And the thing is, like, they wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for us. They wouldn't be. You know, if there weren't an adult fandom, if we didn't exist, if we weren't doing this right now, there never would have been a fan service nod character. There might not have even been season 2.
We always need to keep this
Very
in mind.
true.
We're very open-minded to understand everything because this is the reason that we watched the show in the first place because we are open-minded. We decided to watch the show from the first season to the latest episode.
That uproar needs to be contained. It can't explode to the sense where people are doing anything violent, making threats, you know, trashing the name of the company that is supplying the show. Have you guys ever heard the term, don't bite the hand that feeds you?
I mean, I definitely don't blame Hasbro for what
Can
they
the bronies
did
survive?
based on, you know, what they're saying here, but
Yes,
yeah,
we
communication
can.
would have been
Nope.
nice, I suppose, for
You
them.
know, contrary to what people will have you think, I don't think this was really that big of a deal.
Ah!
Well, of course we can survive. We're bronies.
The Bronies.
Which makes me wish I had been part of this community
Stay calm.
back in 11 or 10 or 11, whenever the show started.
Yes,
I think it was
of
2010
course, okay?
October.
It's
I think.
we're the ones who made Derpy.
Yeah, I think so.
Bro!
It's not Derpy that makes us bronies. It's My Little Pony, and that's not going anywhere for a while, I'm sure.
What? What's funny? What? Oh, you're serious?
And you know, as long as we're here, Derpy's gonna be here too. Doesn't matter what they do to her.
Well, good sir, not only will we survive, but we're gonna thrive. I mean, come on. It's gonna take something much bigger to hope to even bring us down. I mean, we're bronies. We're made of very tough stuff.
I will survive. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to derp, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my scenes to live. I've got all my muffins to give, and I will survive. I will survive. Derp, derp, do, 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 do,
Okay.
Can the bronies survive? Would I go gay for Mike? What?
Okay, now this is where I said I was going to watch the next video, but I am going to... Just in case not has the information I wanted, I'm going to do something a little
Hey guys.
interesting here. I'm going to stop this right here. I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to say this. I'm going to watch the next part, and if it doesn't turn out to be interesting enough for me to keep on, even though it's only 8 minutes, so I probably will just keep it. I will just cut out the video here and say thank you for watching, and yeah, so I'll say it. If this is the end of that, where I don't record this next part, you know what? This is too complicated. I'm just going to watch the next part. It's fine. I was trying to think of how I could end it and then cut that part out and just put this next part but that would just require a lot of editing of trying to find that part where I'm saying it, cut it out, splice that part where I start watching it again into it. You know what? No. All this will be in the video because I don't want to too lazy to try to edit out what I'm just saying here, so we'll just watch it. Yeah. Come on.
Race here, just doing another bonus video to another Bronies React.
This is only 8 minutes.
Bronies React was different in that we weren't so much defending ourselves as we were responding to something that happened within the community. So obviously the emotion was a little bit different on this one. The humor level also a little bit different, but some of these guys, as you saw, and as you will see, were able to still tie in some laughs even in something that means this much to the community. One thing that somebody suggested that I point out is that Derpy was in fact a product of Studio B, where Hasbro being the overall company, but Studio B was really the ones responsible for bringing us Derpy. Speaking of derping,
Which is very... I didn't know
managed to do a little bit of that myself. I finished this video at about 5:30 Easter morning. That little box where you see this thing that's going on, somehow I hit a button and disengaged that track. So that was actually supposed to be there. My roommate's right there! Yeah! Yes, while her name was taken out, it never was in fact changed. So that, in my sense, is she's still named Derpy We're just the ones who know that. And one more note, if you check in the description, a link to my Tumblr. Yes, I have a Tumblr now where I will be giving updates on other video projects I'm doing. But hey, time to enjoy. Hope you guys like this one again. And
Yep, I think I have a good idea keeping this. Just like I said, I always like to hear more thoughts
what
of
does Derpy mean to the community?
Derpy
the community. You know,
became a
learn what I
direct
missed.
link between the creators of the show and their fans.
Huge thank you. It's like thank you from you guys, and it's a huge thank you. And we, in response, we give a thank you back because it's like this is the Derpy that holds everything in place.
She was the first sort of like communication tool that the producers had with us.
As the fan base grew, she kind of grew along with us.
Hasbro acknowledging, hey, bronies exist. Hi guys, we're cool with you.
Derpy sort of became this symbol for this sort of openness between the production staff and the fan base.
Derpy shows that no one is perfect and they don't have to be, and that's a very comforting thing.
Our own interpretations, from songs to music to drawings to stories.
She was one of the few characters that was given life.
Derpy represents the Brony community and its impact on the show.
What do you think people found offensive?
They thought it was making fun of a character who was mentally challenged.
She is the one that's
Which I mean,
You have to be in on the joke to understand why it's not offensive.
It likes to give
they
a bad
weren't even
image
intending it. I mean, if they were intending it,
special people
yes, it would have been offensive.
because
But
they don't
it was just a
usually do
mistake.
bad
It was
thing
never
to see.
The
intended.
original voice might have been a little slow.
Yeah, I really think it was the voice.
At first, I was a little bit off-put by it because it sounded like a stereotype.
I don't think it has anything to do with their knowledge of the show, their knowledge of the name, and their knowledge of the fandom. I believe it's entirely that they were misinformed on this, situation.
It was a mistake on the voice actress's part for mistaking Derpy for a boy, so that's excusable.
I did read that.
If you weren't in on the joke, you probably thought they were making fun of people with mental illness.
Her name and her eyes really weren't that big of a deal, but it was her voice that kind of brought them all together and gave us
I
this
guess I can
offensive
see
portrayal
that.
of a character.
She's clumsy and ditzy, and I think all of us have a side of us like that we can relate to.
What is so important about the voice?
Well, the voice is important because it's like it amplifies more about the character itself.
Our little Derpy was taking a small step into a bigger world.
The voice was critical because every single fan who had watched the show, who liked Derpy, had sort of this idea already in their minds about what she sounded like.
It was under the assumption that she was a boy, so it really wasn't supposed to be what kind of voice they were planning to give her.
The reason that I didn't like the new voice was because it just lacked character. It felt like they went in and recorded that at the last minute.
I think her new
mean,
voice is what a lot of people were expecting.
The old voice had,
Yeah, okay. Trying to see what I'm
it
going to
had
say.
more character. It was definitely, you could tell that she was a clumsy pony who made
I've
a lot
only
of
only heard
mistakes,
the
but
original
really
voice,
meant
not
to
the
try
new
her
voice
best.
when I watched
Especially the people who are
show.
used to Bald Numblerat's interpretation of Derpy. It's, the new voice is closer to that, and I like the new voice.
Do you think the Save Derpy campaign was beneficial?
I think to some extent it was beneficial.
When we get loud, people outside of the fandom hear it.
They like raised a huge voice. It basically told Hasbro, listen, we're over here. We are very concerned about the change.
We can't just force them to take more risks that might, endanger their profits or their company.
Creating a Save Derby campaign is huge. And did you see how many tweets we've sent? Did you see how many petitions and how many signatures we've got to those petitions?
I don't think splashing gas into the fire was a very good idea.
To an outsider, it would seem kind of silly and over the top.
As a producer, as a creative person, I don't think that someone who has creative control over a work shouldn't have to censor it just because someone might get upset.
It's
I
not
mean,
gonna
that
get
is very
Hasbro to
true.
change their mind or change the show back.
To unite the community. That was an accomplishment.
The fandom is there. The fandom has a voice.
There was a call to arms, and the majority of us answered that call.
I think it was important in that it let them know what we thought about it.
It shows how united and how we can be mobilized as a community to work for a common cause.
Do you believe Derpy will ever have a scene again?
That's a hot potato, and they don't want to step in that minefield one more time.
Actually, it's actually pretty possible to have
More
another
than just the background.
scene with Derpy.
It was a shout out to the fans. They did it. I don't know if they would take that chance of doing it again.
Well, what's the problem?
You
with
know,
giving her a
that's
dancing
where
that doesn't
Slice of
seem
Life
offensive?
came in,
Given
and
what
it's just
happened,
like,
I really don't think so.
I'm just
knowing
happy
all
she's
this,
still with us.
I
it
think at
really
this
brings
point,
it
they know
light
people like
about Slice of
Derpy.
Life.
They should just
Just what they were
put
doing
her in
there.
background scenes.
No matter what they did, there was someone who was annoyed at the way it happened. So I don't
Derpy
think they're
was
gonna
always
take the
kinda like
risk of
that
throwing her
fine
in there again. I don't think it's
Watto.
worth the risk for them.
They'll more than likely have to avoid saying her name.
But frankly, yes, I think she will.
The staff is paying more attention to us. They're starting to get our inside jokes. I mean, Fluttertree, they put a muffin on Derpy's saddlebag. That was pretty awesome.
I would love her to have her interact more with the main six.
If the edited scene was the original in the first place, I would have been fine with it. I'm sure a lot of people would have been fine
No
with
one
it.
knows
but
any different.
The issue here isn't the scene, it's the fact that they censored it.
I'm not counting them out. They'll do something clever. I trust the staff.
What message
Oh,
is being
they
sent
did.
to youth by this
They
change?
did.
That being different is wrong.
I think this change might actually glaze over a lot of the younger viewers.
It's not okay to have some pony who is different than every pony else in your social circle.
We're making this controversy more important than it needs to be because we want to feel validated in being upset. And really, I don't think it's a big deal to kids. I don't.
They don't know the importance this scene was to the fandom.
Younger audiences, like 10 and below, they don't care. Why would they? They're too busy watching the actual show.
I
That is
dare
true.
to say it. It's about a blonde pony who basically does stuff wrong instead of just Derpy who's doing stuff wrong.
One kid that I've heard of that it's not okay to be different. That's kind of the message that it gives to kids that might have drawn an inspiration from her.
You should laugh at blondies now.
They have a very big problem accepting those who are different, and that was a very good first step.
There is just so much potential for the things they could have done with her.
I was so excited to see a character like her being loved for who she was.
Iron Hasbro says the tiniest minority is the highest priority.
Okay.
Why don't they seem the least concerned about Derpy being changed? What the hell is going on?
Derpy represents the Brony community.
Okay, end it there, and now give my thoughts. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad I watched that bonus. Kind of gave some more insight into stuff I did not know because, not having watched the show until just... it's the 5/13. I was just thinking, I started watching the show on November 17th, I think, so... Yeah, wow, it's been a long time. I've been doing this reacting YouTube stuff for... 6 months now. That's crazy. Other than 2 days, basically started with 2 videos a day, which in hindsight I kind of like I did that, but at the same time I wish I'd done just 1 video a day other than the premiere and finales, done a 2 episode, because if I had done just 1 episode a day, I calculated out I would have been like on season 8 going into season 9 right now if I had just been watching 1 episode a day other than the finales and premieres. But, what can be done? I watched 2 episodes a day. Can't change it now. So, but now I'm doing 1 episode because it's less work for me. 1 episode, upload it, done. But yeah, I quite enjoyed that, learning about the Derpy change. I should go back and actually watch the full scene of the Derpy versus not Derpy talking and hear the voice differences. I did read about, or maybe when you told me about the voice, they thought that Derpy was a male. That's why it sounded like that, but I'm not sure where I heard that. But anyways, this video has gone far too long. It's almost 30 minutes long. And yeah, the next one is Bronies React to Season 2 finale, which I think it's going to be. Well, I guess I'll find out what the actual main content of this Bronies React series is with like the reactions. I guess I'll find out when I watch it, but are these like live reactions or like, I guess I'll find out. Since obviously when this was made, on May 23rd, 2012. I think this season would already been played, so I guess I'll watch it to find out whether I don't know what I'm trying to say. Is it recorded or is it live action? Or is it live is what I'm trying to ask. Anyways, video's 30 minutes long. Yeah. Now I'm signing off for real. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with Bronies React Season 2 finale. Until then, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.